Today we're going to be doing an install video on the Tamer MX rear starting device. When you get your device, you're going to want to check that the label is for your bike. This is for 2021 Gas MC250F. So we're going to go ahead and open the package here. In the package you should find your latch and your device. The latch should have the specified bike on it. Right there, this is for KTM, Husky, and Gas. Your device should come with 2 set screws in the bottom, along with some jam nuts on them, and then a backer plate and 2 backer plate bolts. It should already be assembled straight when you guys order it from Tamer. And then you're going to open up this little inside here. You're going to find the instructions and a sticker. And then new for 2021 and 2022, the instructions now have a QR code on them. You're going to be able to scan that QR code with your phone camera. It'll take you right to the instructions. Or you can go on tamermx.com and click on product instructions in the top of the page. So now we're going to go over the tools that you will need to install your rear Holeshot device. You're going to need a Sharpie, a 3mm Allen wrench. You're going to need a tape measure. Then you're going to need the right sockets to take off your rear linkage bolt and your shock bolt. And then you're also going to need a 10 wrench or 10 socket in order to tighten those jam nuts on that base. And then you're going to need, obviously, the ratchet. And then a file to file down the casting mark on the linkage. What we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and remove the rear linkage bolt. Once we have that rear linkage bolt removed, we are going to take the linkage and we're going to push it out of the way. And then we're going to move the shock bolt. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. And this is what the latch plate is going to attach to. So once we get that shock bolt out, we're going to take the latch plate, make sure that the words are facing the right way, and make sure that the latch is going up on the shock. So you'll see how I put it on. I get the bolt in there and then I rotate it up like that. So the shock latch should not be hanging below the shock at all. So we're going to go ahead and tighten that up. Make sure you grease up your bolts. And then you're going to want to make a measurement on the linkage arm. You're going to want to measure from the front linkage bolt and make a mark with a Sharpie on the linkage arm. It's 1 7/8 for Husky, KTM, and Gas, but it should say in your instructions. So then we're going to start marking where we need to file. So we're going to go ahead and remove the backer plate bolt. We're only going to remove one and loosen the other. So there's about a 3/16 gap. We're just going to slide that over. And then this is just for marking purposes only. We're going to press it down. Also makes it easier to install later. We're going to tighten these lower bolts here, making sure that that face is right up along line with that Sharpie mark we just made. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those two up, and we're just going to make a mark on both sides. This will tell us where we need to file. So we will take that off again. We'll set that off to the side, and then we're going to take our file and we're going to file off this casting mark here. Make sure you do the outside and the inside. There's a casting mark on both sides. Try to get it as flat as you can. That'll greatly help. So now that we have that all smooth and sanded down, we can take the base and we can put it back on. And we're going to just lightly snug up. Do not tighten, but lightly snug up with your hand the 2 bottom bolts. Just about hand tighten. We're going to lightly snug up those two. And then we're going to take our backer plate bolt and we're going to put it in the back, and we're actually going to tighten the backer plate first. So make sure that it is lined up and tighten the backer plate first. The bolts should be sticking through the front the exact same length. Make sure both bolts are the exact same length going through there. Make sure you have them tightened the same. And then once you have that backer plate bolts all tightened up, get them pretty tight. You're going to want it to stay on there strong. Get them pretty tight. You're going to tighten the bottom 2 bolts. Get those pretty tight as well. And then you're going to want to take your 10 wrench or your 10 socket, and you're going to tighten up those jam nuts. Get those pretty tight so it locks those in there. And then once that is in place, you can grease up your rear linkage bolt. And make sure that on some of the bikes you will have to lift the rear wheel up to get the linkage back into place with that latch there. But once it's into place, it won't rub or anything, and you'll be good. So put that rear shock bolt back in. Make sure it's all lined up. We can tighten that up. Give the button a push a few times and make sure that it's all good. And then now, once the rear shock bolt's all tightened up, we will be able to latch it. And we'll show you how to latch it here. So we're going to show you how it latches down from below. See that it's clearing just fine. And then right there, you just push it in once it goes past that little part. Then we go 1, 2, 3.